been written, or that topic has already been written. Okay. So the best thing is that you always have to do some preliminary search and some kind of analysis and see whether the topic that you're going to write, people have written the same or similar thing before. And even if they have written the same, what can you do to make yours different? So that must be your focus. Okay, so we are looking at barriers to circular economy. But in terms of the barriers, people have written a number of studies on that. I checked and I saw that people have written so many studies on barriers to circular economy. So then the question is, what can make ours different? Because we want to write barriers. Meanwhile, people have already written them. So what do we do? Then I decided to look at this from construction. I think when I looked at this from construction industry, I saw that that's one two people have written papers on that. Okay, there are studies on barriers to implementation of circular economy in the construction industry. So then the question is, so does it mean I have to abandon my idea or what I want to write? I would say no, don't abandon your idea. What you can do is that you can go ahead and now look at the area. I mean, when I say area, so this is what somebody has done. Barriers impeding circular economy uptake in the construction industry. So somebody has done this study. Okay, yeah, which I think we have to also, and I think some of the people here, you know them. Right? Do you know them?
Yeah.
I can't hear from you.
Yeah, I know them.
Yes. So people have also done this, which I think is detailed. That's a fantastic work that they have done. Okay. So barriers to circular economy, people have done this. Okay. So that means in terms of the construction industry, people have also done studies on that. Hey, so the question is, this paper is good. Let me save it. So what do we do? So does it mean we have to abandon our just a minute. We have to abandon our idea? I don't think so. So what we can do now is look at this from the point of, or we look at this from another angle. And another angle, that means we need to find an area where this circular economy thing has not really been talked about or has not been discussed. So what area can we find that can help us to make our work different? So I look at this from, I did a little bit search of waste management. It's a little bit different, but we can still look at that waste management. But even with the waste management, we also saw that people have also done a lot of studies on that. Okay. Then I decided to now narrow it down to developing economies. Then with that one, I saw that no, we don't have much studies, or even if there is a study, nobody has done some kind of review on the barriers of implementing circular economy in the waste management in developing countries. Even the waste management, you know, there are types of waste management. The waste management, yeah, I want us to look at this from something like Zoom Lion. You all know Zoom Lion, what they do. So so we can look at this from that angle as well. Yeah. Any idea? Okay, so that is about what I came about. Any of you want to say something about it before we move on?
Not really.
This is an empirical paper, but I'm talking about literature review. Nobody has done a review on this. Any idea as to what you guys want us to do? So if no one has anything, I think that is a good thing that we look at it. I understand somebody will say, but it's a little bit different from the normal construction. Why are we not looking at construction industry or PVP as we saw in the other one? Another reason, the reason why I decided that we look at it from the waste management thing is that when I was trying to look at it from the PVP, the barriers, I realized that the only thing that we can do is to just do a systematic review. We can't do the scientometric. There are few papers which are not even up to, I couldn't get 34 papers. I think I got 31 or 32 papers. And that will only help us to do systematic review. It cannot help us to do a scientometric review. With scientometric, normally you need a number of papers. Okay. Yeah. So I think the waste management thing is a good thing that we can do. It's a little bit different from your normal construction projects and all that, but I think as somebody who is into construction and all that, waste management is something that I think you must have an idea. Even if you are not that good in it, you must have something, an idea about it. What do you think, Joshua?
I think it's a step in the right direction, especially when
It seems
looking
your
at
voices
it.
are far, or it is me that
My network is bad. Our this thing, our data here just got finished. So I'm using the normal network here.
can you hear from me?
I can hear from you very well.
Okay, good.
Please, is it okay now?
Okay, you can talk. Yeah, it's loud.
I'm saying that I think looking at it from a waste perspective is very okay.
Okay.
Looking at the record of construction.
Yeah.
In waste. I think my master's thesis, I'm looking at something of that sort.
Oh, okay.
So it's in the right direction.
Okay, that's good. Good to hear. Another thing too that I want us to do is that honestly, as I've always been telling people, I think I mentioned this to Portia and Roxana, our other friend who couldn't join us, that any idea that you have, you need to put it on paper as soon as possible because time is running. For example, let me show you this example. This paper, which was published or has been published just last month. Somebody that I know about 3 people who have done similar things. You know, so nowadays, if you have something that you want to write, I think you have to be quick when you are trying to put it on paper. Other than that, by the time that you realize somebody has published a similar thing and yours become a secondary staff. It nearly happened to me, even in my own, I'm going to use my own example. For example, I published a paper in Cleaner Production not too long ago. It's about green buildings and green finance. Okay, by the time that I put a paper in and the paper was under review, then I think another person also published something, a similar thing, not the same, but a similar thing. And I think so the guy, you know him, he's called Khaled. He's in Hong Kong. Yeah, so it seems there's this kind of competition going on around the world. And the best thing is that when you have an idea, put it on paper, write it, and don't wait, no matter how you think it is. Because if you don't write, somebody out there is also thinking about the same or similar thing, even if it's not the same, similar. And by the time you think you are so comfortable, you are coming to write whatever you want to write, it will be too late. So those of you and Portia, for example, I know you are putting some of your papers into, your thesis document into papers. I will encourage you to do it fast. The same thing applies to Joshua. I'm encouraging you. That's why you have even started doing your master's. I think you can talk to your supervisor and start writing review papers which are related to your topic, as I'm teaching you, okay, on your own. Because if you don't start writing, by the time that maybe you will finish and you say that you are coming to convert your thesis into something, people have already written the things that you want to write, and yours will become secondary. Even if it will be relevant, it will not be that kind of, it will not be so relevant. So I'm encouraging all of you to start writing, especially on your own and with respect to this thing that we are going to do. Okay, because people are writing so many. Nowadays, it's hard for you to sit down and get some straightforward topics because people are really writing. They're writing here and there. So with this project, the other one, I'm almost done with the review, so I'll be submitting it. But with respect to this project, I want us to be a little bit fast and quick. And then when assignments are given, I'm pleading with you that you take your time, you write. But as you are writing, you need to also consider time as well, so that we can get this thing done, put together, and then we submit it. Okay. So that is just by the way. Okay, so now let's go into the work, and we'll go straight into the work so that we don't waste that time. So we are looking at the barriers of circular economy in waste management. In fact, initially I wanted to look at this from Africa. From African perspective, barriers of management in Africa. But I don't know, but I think it's still a good thing to do because I know somebody did a review on construction with respect to circular economy. So I think we can also look at this from that point of view anyway. But let's see how the literature, the kind of things that the literature will give to us. Because based on that, then we can scale our thing down. Okay. Yeah. So let's go. Circular economy. But now I would say developing economies. But don't forget, it will be we'll make changes, and we are using Scientometric review. Okay, so we move on to the database. The first thing to do is to look at the database. But what I want to say is that Scientometric review follow the same steps as I've taught you in the systematic review. In fact, it's the same. The only difference here are some few things which I will show you very soon. So let me go here and show you this. So many things. Okay. So let me show you before this. Let me show you two articles that I want you to read, and it should be it can help. They can guide you. The two articles are one. This paper. So I want everybody to get this paper. I'm sharing it in the chat box, or I'm putting it in the chat box.
Okay.
I want everybody to get this paper. In case you are trying to download it and you can't get it, you let me know. I'll get this for you. So that is the first one. Then the second paper is a paper also written by the same author and I. I mean, a similar one. It's not the same, but a similar paper, which was published this year, or which has been published this year. So get this paper as well. So these two papers, written by almost the same authors, should guide you in terms of this thing that we are going to do. And actually, these are the papers I'm going to use to teach you as we go along writing this paper. Let me put the in the chat box again. Okay, so I'm going to open the other one. Good. So I'm going to open this one. And just like how we did it for the schematic review, the first thing that you have to look at, or I want us to look at, is to look at the methodology. So we are going to look at the methodology. The methodology, that's the first step. The same thing as we did in the systematic review. Okay, so the first thing to do under the research method or the methodology is to look at your flow chart. So you need to design a flow chart, and this flow chart should guide you to write the paper that you want to write. So the flow, with respect to the flow chart, you just sit down. You can just sit down and then sketch something on your own. So do your best to sketch something. And by now you should know this because we have gone through a similar thing. And if you look at the flow, this flow chart very well, you can see that it is almost the same thing as what we did, just that you can see some new things, different stuff here, but it's the same. It's not anything new. The first thing, which let me show you in the other paper, which that one we describe it well. So I made it clearer. Is this? You all know this. Step one, stage one, phase one. You remember this?
Yeah.
So the first thing that you have to do is for you to come out with the selection of software as far as the scientometric review is concerned. In other words, with scientometric review, we are dealing with a large number of papers or articles. So you can review them manually, as we did with the systematic literature review. Therefore, you need a software which can help you to review this large number of data available to you. So you need to select a software that can help you to do this. There are a number of softwares. So you have to decide to choose one of them. You choose one of them. You choose one of them. You can't choose all of them. You choose one. Okay, so let's assume I have taken my software. What next? The next thing that you have to do is that the software, you have to feed the software with data. In other words, information. So the question is, where do you get your data from? Which is sources of data or source of information? Remember, we are dealing with literature review. Literature review is a form of a study where you are reviewing secondary data. And secondary data, I mean data which people have already published. Here, we are not designing interviews and questionnaires to go out there and go and take primary data. It's something that people have already done and published online. They are online data already published. So it's secondary data. Okay, but we have places where we can get this data from. We have special places. And in construction management, we have, or we normally use data from places like Scopus, Web of Science, Google Scholar, EBSCOhost, and the rest. You know all these things already. That's why I said almost everything here is the same as what we did in the systematic review. The changes are few changes are here. There's nothing extremely new here. There's nothing new. Okay, so you select one of them. Why? Because with respect to the kind of software that you choose, you need to feed it with the data that will suit the software, or with that will match with the software. Some of the data from some data sources cannot fit some softwares or some software. So once you identify a particular software, you need to know the kind of data which will fit and where you can get it from as well. So as you can see, we selected Scopus, but it doesn't mean that all studies you have to select Scopus. Some of the studies you have to select Web of Science. Some of them you have to select Scopus or PubMed or one of them. So after getting your data, what next? Once you get the data, now you feed the data into the software and you do the analysis. So that's where the actual bibliometric data extraction and all that will come in. So you extract using keywords, you extract the data, you put it into the software, then you run. And once you run, you get the results that you want. I'll run some of them for you to see. And then the next time that we'll meet, what we'll do is that I will give you the things that we are supposed to analyze. But today we'll dwell more on the methodology. Yeah, we are going to dwell more on the methodology. Okay. So we are all going to write it together. And we are giving ourselves one week. Then after that, we come to the analysis where we use the software. Okay, so that's the whole thing. So now let me go into it and explain. I'm going to read and explain. I'm teaching you at the same time. I'm also we are also going to write at the same time. I'm lecturing you, and we are writing, or we are writing at the same time. Okay, so the two papers I recommended are similar because almost the same authors wrote the paper. So some of the things in them are somehow similar. So I'm going to use the two. So with respect to the Wuni paper, what he did was that he introduced the method. So I'm going to read. So this is what he said. This session outlines the research methods and tools used in conducting scientometric analysis. Subsessions are provided. Oh, sorry. Subsessions are provided to offer a comprehensive outlook of the research method adopted. In Figure 1, a flowchart of the research methodology is presented. The subsequent sessions provide a brief description of the major components of the flowchart. Okay, so he's just trying to say that he has summarized this whole research method in the flowchart. In other words, when you look at the flowchart without even explanation, you have to understand what he's trying to tell you with respect to this research. Okay, so he starts from the first one, step 1, which normally we call step 1, or whatever you want to call it. Phase 1, step 1, whatever. He didn't say steps, but it's the same. So 2.1, science mapping and scientometric analysis. If I am writing this or looking at the other paper, I didn't write this session because why? Because all that I need to do is just to mention the scientometric analysis and maybe give 1 or 2 reasons why it is important that people use scientometric analysis to do their study. That's all that I would say. But what he did was that he rather explained. That's fine. That's good. Can do that as acceptable. So let's see what he wrote. He said in this paper, a quantitative base. In other words, the scientometric analysis is considered as a quantitative base. Why is it quantitative base? Because later on we'll see that it will help us to generate some results like this. Okay, it's just like using the Howard table or the Howard formula. Remember, good. So the same. So it's quantitative. Good. A quantitative-based science mapping technique is deployed. Thus, it was instructive to adopt a technique capable of quantitatively mapping out patterns and networks in a larger set of bibliometric data. Indeed, Science mapping, which is also known as visualization or visualizing of the geometric network, has become a suitable network. Sorry, has become what? A suitable to use by researchers for describing and diagnosing large collections of geometric data for several purposes. The approach addresses the challenges associated with manual reviews when trying to map the working linkages of researchers, keywords, countries, and research outlets within a research domain. Although science mapping is broadly classified into three major techniques comprising informatics, geometric and scientometric analysis, the latter approach satisfies the objectives and tenets of current study. Indeed, these techniques are overlapping. Good. That's what I was doing. I was going to criticize him, but can also be applied independently. While geometric analysis seeks to scientifically map the literature per se, scientometric analysis extends the geometric analysis to encompass the measurement and analysis of the network of researchers, institutions, countries within the literature. As noted by Hosni 2021 or something. Hosni et al., a scientometric analysis deploys geometric data, techniques, and methods to scientifically map the literature. In other words, what he's trying to say is that well, the whole science mapping thing, the word mapping, it's just like the word you say mapping. What is map? Let's capture the word map. In order to project, to visualize, to represent. These are some of the words for that. In order to present something or represent something or visualize something or to make something clearer to people or clear to people, you need some tools that will help you. In fact, there are three of them which today they are very common. The first one is called informatics, and then the second one is called geometric, and then we have the scientometric also came in. The informatics has been around for some time, that one has to do with more of information. Okay, how to relate information and keywords and other things together. And then the geometric came in. Geometric was being used by analyzing a large set of academic literature or public literature. But the limitation of the geometric was that the geometric was not designed or has not been designed to help you to do the quantitative analysis part.
Okay.
In terms of like we're using Howard table and all that. But with the coming in of the scientometric combines almost all the first two and then add quantitative aspect of it to it. The first two will help you to just really visualize, just do the mapping, show the pictures and all that. But they will not help you to quantitatively analyze how they relate together. But the scientometric go beyond these two and then add the quantitative aspect. So that's the difference. And that's what he has explained. Is that clear?
Yeah, that's clear.
Good.
Yes,
So
clear.
good. So in this case, once again, if I am writing this, I will not spend my time writing all these things because a lot of people do this. So I'll not locate or I'll locate a whole session talking about this. I'll just briefly talk about it in 2 or 3 sentences, summarizing it, and I'll add it to the introduction. Then just move ahead and rather come here. The selection of the software, which is very key. It's raining. Hey, wow. So the selection of the software, this is the key part that you have to know. So this is how he started. Several software tools have been deployed or developed to scientifically map literature with wider coverage. While some of these tools are developed for general science mapping, some have specialized application within the science mapping philosophy. Again, these software tools have disparate strength, capabilities, and limitations. With the intent to map and visualize the nature of extensive scholarly data sets, the choice of the software tool is essential. Adoption of a tool, which is tools, will require awareness of their relevance to the study, features, and limitations. So he's just explaining the software. In other words, just like any software that you know all over the world, any software, SPSS, whatever SS, yeah, They all have their capabilities, their strengths. Capabilities means what they can do. Their strength means their advantages, and they also have their weaknesses. It is the limitations. All softwares do have it, including WhatsApp app. They all have things that they can do and the things that they cannot do. So the same thing applies here. The software that we are going to use, that software will have its limitations, strengths, and capabilities. But before we select one of them, I have to introduce you to the types of software which are currently available, which you can use them to visualize and analyze your large data sets. So what are some of them? So some of them are SciNet Explorer. So take note of them. We have SciSpace. If some of you learn it very well, or when we finish this analysis later on, okay, you can learn these things: SciSpace, Gephi, BIP Excel, Vantage Point, and the rest. We have other ones as well. But for now, what we are going to use is the voice viewer, which is the last one. The last one that he mentioned. Okay, good. Then he went ahead to say that exists unpopular software for science mapping. Full stop. Voice viewer was selected. So in this study, or in your study, you have to tell us the particular or the specific software that you are using to analyze your large data. As far as our paper is concerned, we are using the voice viewer. Even the voice viewer, this is an older version, because currently we have the new version. Let me show you the new version. It's free online, so you can get it. You just Google voice viewer. So currently this is what we have, 1.618. He used 1.69, meaning his version is the old type. It's understandable because he wrote the paper almost about 3 or 4 years ago, so it's understandable. Okay. This is free, but just Google voice viewer, you get it online. It's free of charge and download. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. So the next thing is that once you select the software that you are going to use to analyze your data, you need to tell us, or you have to say something about the software. Give us the capabilities, what the software can do, and then give us the strengths, the advantages of picking that software. And then if it is possible, you can also talk about the weaknesses of the software briefly. So you see how it was done. Good. So he said, voice viewer, so he went ahead to say, voice viewer is an open source software tool. The tool offers software features for visualizing the bibliometric network and for scientifically mapping the data. The text mining tool is uniquely designed for visualizing and analyzing bibliometric networks and has been deployed by various researchers for scientometric reviews. For instance, in the construction management research domain, voice viewer has been used to map knowledge in offsite. So he's even given, or he has given us examples of situations where people have even used a voice viewer to do some kind of research or to conduct some research. So he said, he ended by saying that voice viewer was considered sufficient enough to achieve the objectives of this study, Okay, so you see how he argued.
Yeah.
That's how you are supposed to write. Now we have our software. We have chosen our software. The next thing to do is to look at the selection of data. And this one, as I mentioned, we all know it very well, because I've talked about it over and over and over again when we're doing the scientometric, the systematic review. And it has to do with where you can get data, which is the data source, or what we also call the database. So there are a number of databases around. We have Web of Science, we have Scopus, we have Google Scholar, and the rest. But you need to select one of them. With respect to voice viewer, normally two databases per the readings I've done or per the studies I've done, a lot of researchers use either Scopus or Web of Science to extract their data to feed them into the software, that's the voice viewer, when they are using voice viewer. Okay, but it doesn't mean you can't use the other ones. But the studies I've done, researchers argue that these two softwares normally fit in better compared to other ones. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Good. Now let's look at it together. So let's go. So Scopus and Web of Science are the two common databases that index construction management research publications. While the two offers comprehensive platform for extracting bibliometric data, the number of publications indexed in these two databases on the same research area tend to differ. In this study, he decided to select Scopus. Why? Because to him, Scopus has a wider coverage of the research publications and includes more recent bibliometric data compared to Web of Science and Google Scholar. Yes. So what you normally have to do is that when you are doing the search, you can compare the two and see the one which will give you a wider coverage. But that's not the only reason why you have to give. Then he also said, again, previous reviews in construction management have also used Scopus. Particularly, once you are a network analysis, the opportunity to import biometric data from Web of Science, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, that's the choice of Scopus was consistent with acceptable file format for Bolivia. So the main reason why he chose, but it's not only Scopus that the file or the data that we get from them fit into Bolivia. Web of Science too also fit into that. Okay, this is what he used. Anyway, that's fine. Is it okay? Any question for me? Or everybody's fine?
Yeah, for now.
That's good. So now we are done with also the selection of database. So now we come to the extraction, and this one you know it very well. We have done this thing over and over again. How do you extract data? You extract data after you have selected the database where you want to extract the data from. The next thing that you need to do is to get the keywords. The keywords that you're going to use to help you to extract the data. So in this case, for example, the keywords that he used are green buildings, sustainable building, construction, sustainability, green technology, sustainable construction were the keywords that he used. And they used the search. So he searched. So he did a search. And after doing the search, what happened was that the first outcome was 13,276 documents that came out, including even studies that are outside of the construction industry, as he has mentioned. That's cool. Then he decided to do what we have also done this thing before. You limit the search. How do you limit the search?
Yeah.
You can limit by document type, article, what article,
Yeah.
type,
Yeah.
language, the year. Okay, so you can see it's the same. There's nothing new here. There's nothing new. Good. So he did that, and then he got a number. Then he rather went ahead and added the selection of journals. He rather considered to look at the articles from some particular journals. And the journals, I mean top tier journals, which are in the construction industry. But that does not mean we have to do the same. Okay, that's his approach, but it doesn't mean we have to do the same thing. Okay, then after doing all the restrictions, the number of articles came down to 1,147 as of September 2018. And then he downloaded them in a form of CSV, that's the comma separated values, or RIS, which is the research information system. Any of them, you can use them to download. And after this, the next step was to do the analysis. Okay, what is analytical procedure? So what do you do with analysis? Now you have information, now you have selected the software. So what do? You put a the information or the data into the software. You run it, then you get a results. So this is what he said. After importing the bibliometric data into the software, analysis was conducted in different stages, followed by cross-checking to ensure consistency and reliability. Firstly, the voice viewer functionality to create a map was used to create networks of general citations, keyword co-occurrence, bibliographic coupling, authorship, document citation, and country citations. From there, the total citations, average citation, normalized citation, average normalized citation, links and total links of authors and countries were recorded. Maps were created to illustrate the networks, and accompanying tables were also created to quantitatively summarize the numerical strengths or metrics of the networks. The voice viewer functionality to create a map based on this was also used, which I will show all of these things to you, okay, in the software when we get to the software session. And once this thing was done, so he just described how the analysis was done. Then after that, he showed the results, so the science mapping results and discussion. The first one is annual publication trend. And this annual publication trend is the same thing as you know, as we did it in the systematic review. It's not new. And this one shows how publications have been done for some years now. Maybe 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, whatever years. Is that okay?
Yeah.
So I'm so happy to work with you guys. As you have responded, I want us to work and get this thing done within a month. Is it possible? I want to get your feedback. But if it's going to be possible, it depends on you, it depends on I. It depends on, I mean, the two of you plus. I don't know how Roxana nowadays has been given some kind of lecturing job, not really a full lectureship, but kind of tutoring work. I think it's going to be difficult for her to always come to the meeting. So the work is going to be based on the two of you and myself. So I don't know how it's going to be done. Is it 1 month possible? So that we don't waste too much time, because the systematic review paper, in fact, we have spent a long time on it, and it's not good. And it was not good. Or it is not good. It's not good. So is it something possible? If the 1 month is not feasible, what time do you propose? Should we do it 1.5 months, 2 months? I want you to talk. What do you think? Let's share ideas so that we can work within a time frame and get this thing done. Other than that, it will drag again, just like how the systematic review dragged, and it dragged, and then it got to a point I just put it somewhere and then just was focusing on other things. I have to retake it again later on. So I want us to fix a realistic timetable. The word is realistic, practical timetable which we can work and get this thing done. So please, I want to hear your voice. What do you think? Yes.
Yeah, since you're
Yeah.
amongst ourselves, so I think the 1 month will be fine,
Okay.
depending on how we schedule it.
Yeah. Joshua, what do you think?
Oh, I think in the coming weeks, my schedule will be very tough. But then,
Good.
if we get a clear indication of what you'll be doing,
Okay.
we all don't have time, but we make time for what is important. So
Important, yeah.
so
That's
yeah,
true.
I'll make time, and because I'm writing exams in the next 2
Oh,
weeks. Yeah.
I see.
However, I can make time. It's not a
So when
problem.
is that's good. That's good to let me know. When is your exams ending?
I think next 2 weeks, by next 2 weeks weekend. Let me
The
check
exam
the date.
you'll be done by next 2 weeks. That is roughly, today is 9th, so roughly by 23rd. Is that what?
Yeah, 23rd, 24th to be done. Yes,
Yeah.
please.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's cool. So that means today is 9. Then I think we can extend it to the end of October maximum.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that whilst Joshua will be writing the exams, even if he will be writing, he will not, he'll be contributing something small to the work. And then when he finish his exams, when he's done, then he can run fast with us so that we can finish it up. That's good to hear. I think. What about you, Portia? What is your schedule? Because I need to know so that I don't also put anything that will not help you out.
Yeah, I earlier on said it's okay for me, but we
You
have to since we have to consider Joshua, I'm fine with
okay?
whatever
So that
decision
means for
they
now,
take.
what is going to happen is that Portia, you will write the methodology, and then the what's the name? You write the methodology and also come up with the diagram as you did it in the systematic review. You designed something.
Okay.
Is it something that you can do? And if you can do it, how long do you think you can do it? You just follow the papers, the 2 papers I have recommended. Just that, as I always tell you, read wide so that we don't copy the same thing. So that people will accuse us of plagiarism. Just read wide, but it's just going to follow almost the same thing. So in your case, you can come up with steps or phases or something, make our work different.
Okay.
And then
That's fine.
yeah. So when do you think you can give the methodology to us?
In a
Right?
week's time is fine.
In a week's time. Good. In a week's time, it's going to be, we are going to have a meeting next week. But I also find out from Roxana the day that she can also join us, so that she can also do part of the thing. So a week's time, that is going to be, what date is that? 16th. September. Okay, that's fine. That's okay. Then Joshua, your work is going to be the publication trend. Because you are writing exams, I can't burden you too much with a lot of things. It's a simple yearly publication analysis for a start. Now, before we meet, because the publication trend, that's why you don't need a software to do it. There's a normal software, what was the name? The normal Excel thing.
Yeah.
You don't need. So I'll send you the publication trend, the diagram for the data every year, how the thing went. Then you write about it.
Okay.
Once again, you can look at the papers that we have written, the papers I have written, and the other literature review papers. Just look at how they were done. So that one too, is it possible by next week you can be done?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Yes, that's fine. Now, when we meet next week, if these things have been done, I will take it from there and do the changes, the necessary changes. So next week when we meet, it's going to be about learning the software, the voice viewer, and how to use the voice viewer to do the analysis. Okay, so we are going to do the voice viewer analysis, and with respect to the voice viewer analysis, some of the analysis that we will be doing is citation analysis, document citation analysis, and also author citation analysis. And then also we'll look at how some keywords appeared, keyword analysis, then co-authorship in terms of authors, and then journal. We look at countries, and then lastly institutions. So just like how we did it once again in the manual form, this time around, we have a software which is helping us to do it. Because we have done all these things before. in the manual form or in the manual way using the systematic review approach. But this time around, we have a software which is helping us to do it. So I will encourage each and everybody or each and everyone here to download the voice viewer. And then if it is possible, if you have time, I'm not saying do it, but you can do it. You don't really need to do it. We will do it next week together, but if you have time, you can do it. You can play around it. Okay, you just download it, install it. It's easy to download it. It's also easy to install. Just download the latest version and then play around it. And another thing too I will encourage you to do is you can also watch some of the YouTube videos briefly, just for your own good. Okay, for your own good, just for more understanding. I'm not saying I'm not going to explain and teach you well. I'll be doing that, but just to have understanding or a better understanding of what I'm teaching you. You can go ahead and also watch YouTube videos. There are a number of YouTube videos on this. People have done examples of that there. Okay.
Come to think of it, there actually isn't a single
So
email that
please,
I've written from us.
that is the work that we are doing. What is our targeted journal? Our targeted journal is called Environmental Science and Pollution Research. This is the top tier journal. And because we are targeting a top tier journal, I'll plead with everyone, when you are writing, take your time, do a very good research, read wide, and write something good. Okay? Yes. The reason why I'm asking you, when are you going to get time to submit? When are you going to get time to do this? Is that I just want us to be real, where we can really get time and write something good, not give you a time frame or give you some time deadline, which is so tight that you won't be able to get time to read. And therefore, you just go and copy something in a rush, put them together, and just send it to me. You will not be helping us. We all want to publish in top tier journals for the sake of our needs, for our needs. Yeah, I always tell people, at least today I have, even if I don't have any paper, I have one paper which is in a very top tier journal. Even if I don't, I decide I have stopped academia thing. One day, I saw something that my friend that you know, my friend and my brother, it's called Dr. Augustine. I think you all know him.
Yeah.
Yes. We always say this, that at least even if we don't have anything, we have one of our papers in a very top tier journal. At least that one alone, even if we are no more going to academia, or we say we will not do academic thing, we have made something, which in future people will come and read it and say, oh, you guys did some good work and we published in the top tier journal. It's good. It's for our own good. Therefore, if that thing is going to be achieved, it doesn't come on a silver platter. It comes with hard work. It comes with reading wide, being innovative, and writing something good. And that's really time people will read your paper or look at your article and accept it in a very good journal. Okay, so that's it. Now, this one is going to be next week when we meet. So next week, this thing is going to be done. When we meet next week, this is what we are going to work on. Then the next thing is that once we are done with this, I will give everyone 2 weeks. Yeah, I'm going to be realistic here. Because with this analysis, once I'm done and you are going to write about it, you need to really, I'm not going to give all the sessions to the two of you. Or I think I should even make it 3 weeks. Yeah. So this session really demands that we spend quite a number and a sizable amount of time here to write and understand the whole thing well. So the next meeting from that meeting will be on September 30th. And by that September 30th, when we are coming back, we should have written all the analysis on citation, keywords, authorship, based on the voice viewer results. Okay. So by the time by the time that we'll be meeting on 30th September, we should be doing this. What was the next thing? The next thing is that when we meet on the 30th September, then we now narrow the whole thing down into the things that we are writing about, which is the barriers. In fact, it is so easy to find so many barriers all over the world concerning circular economy. Okay, people have written a lot of things about them, so it's easy for us to identify them. But the challenge is that here we are dealing with so many papers. We are dealing with thousands. It's possible we are going to see thousands of papers. So what we are going to do is that we will just select some of them, which will help us to identify the key barriers. Okay, so when we meet on the 30th, I will show you how to get the barriers, which I think all of us, this time around, we are all going to do it together for the sake of meeting the deadline that we have set for us. We are all going to do the barriers. So identification of the barriers. So all of us are going to do it. And with this identification of the barriers, we'll give ourselves 1 week where we will all the articles, it's possible I'll propose some of the articles which are important that you can look at. Maybe Joshua will identify 5, I'll identify 10, and Portia will identify 20 or something. Then once we get all of them, when we meet, the next time that we meet somewhere in October, then we just put them together and then we write about them. Okay, so identification of the barriers is going to take place for 1 week. What do you think? 1 week is enough, or we should extend it to 2 weeks?
It's okay because we are going to share it amongst ourselves, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is going to be on the 7th of October. Then from the identification of the barriers, now we write. So writing should also take us a week. Is a week enough? Or 2 weeks is better? I think it should take us 2 weeks. But if you want to write something good, 1 week I think is not enough. First, as the write-up. Then now we are heading towards the end, which is going to be the identification of some barriers, gaps, and all that. That one I can do that while the two of you do the write-up. Okay, so
Sure.
Gaps. This one. Yeah. That one should also be presented on that very day. Okay, so we have all these things, and now the last week will be just to put everything together and just go ahead and do the and submit. So the journal. Actually, I'm a reviewer. I'm a reviewer for this channel. Worry me. Ask me when am I submitting the paper? Yeah, so I think that Okay. Okay, so we'll use the last. So that's going to be the introduction, conclusion, review. And that should be from any time from this, that's October 2022, that's ending. Maximum by first week of November, you should submit. Don't forget, these are proposed timelines. It's possible we can work and get things done before this time. Okay, so I'm not saying that, as you can see it here, it's going to be like strictly that's how it will be. It's possible we can work and get a thing done even before the times are here. If we work so hard, we can do that. I think we must be able to do that. Okay, so that's all for today. Any question for me before we go?
Yeah, Isaac, about the first paper.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm
I
on
wanted
it.
to know.
I've done the review, but I'm left to do the review on the factors. I've read
Oh,
the factors section, so I'm trying to do it before we go ahead with this one. Yeah, and the place I decided to submit it, I think I put a list in there. Just give me a minute. Oh, you wanted to say something aside this one? Portia, did you want
oh,
to?
I just wanted to ask about it.
And okay, the
Yeah.
status or the how
Pardon?
you wanted to know the
Yeah,
how.
because yeah, for the last
Yes,
meeting
yes,
we
it
said
has
we were going to submit
has
it today.
been done to the distance. I think I put a the journal. Yeah, Joshua has done his part. Joshua has done the work that I told him to do. So he sent it to me. I've looked at that. I've done some review on it. I've put them into the work. This is not the document. I don't know where I've saved it. I'm trying to get it. I put it somewhere. So it will be submitted as soon as possible before we go ahead to submit this one as well. Where is it? Okay, I think that's all for today. Any question for me aside Portia's question? Joshua, do you have a question?
No, sir.
Is everything clear?
Yes, it's clear.
Okay, so because of that, because of this work, please do read. I always say literary review is all about reading. So if you are not happy with reading, you are going to find it tough. The Australians will say tough. So you need to read. You need to read. When you read, you get to know what is going on now around the world. And based on that, you can use it to write your papers. So I think that's all. I'll share, do remind me, I'll try and share the drafted paper or manuscript with you within the week, the coming week. Okay, for you to have a look at them, all of you. And if there's an area where you have an issue or something, let me know. I think I have to go ahead and submit and see what the reviewers will say. I just don't know where I've saved. I don't know whether I've saved it in another file. So I put everything together. Another one. Anyway, I can't really see where I put it, but I'll share it with you, okay, everyone. And then we move on with other things. Okay, so that's all for now. If there's no other question, then I'll say bye-bye to everyone. Have a nice weekend. Enjoy your weekend and stay safe. Joshua, I wish you all the best. The exams is starting this week or next week. Hello. We will come.
Next week. Next week.
Yes. Maybe like I'm done. At the camera, now. Right now, we could be going home. Right. Ade. Why are you laughing? Oh, okay. Ice cream way. Oh, okay. I was okay. Who baby I can. Okay, two better opposites here. Yeah, my meet in a way, so you can meet me, then we go. Is it? Sika, no physical car, $300 for me. Yeah, $300. Okay. Okay, later. Okay. Oh, sorry for the interruption. Your own sister, Portia's best friend.
Mhm.
Anyway,
What's up?
so yeah, so I think that is all for today. I wish everybody the best. Let's keep on working hard, okay? And I know it's going to work. Let's keep on. And once again, as I mentioned, please, if you have any paper that you are writing, start putting it together. This is going to be our last review paper as far as I'm concerned. From now or going forward, any paper that you see me writing is a full empirical paper. Because now I have completed review. If I'll do any review, it will be future. Maybe my other students want to come on. Somebody is writing a review paper and you need my assistance, or you want to add my name, something that's going to be cool. I'll be there to help you out. But any review paper I'm going to lead for now, it's now over. I'm not going to do anything again. Any other paper, I will request you to come and join. Will be a paper which is going to be an empirical one. So that's for your information. So if you have anything that you are trying to put together, do it fast. Take care and stay safe. Bye. God bless.
Bye.